Hey guys, welcome back to another Late Night Strange. In today's topic, we are going to be discussing about cave demons and cave dwellers. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe, and feel free to put a comment down below in the comment section. Let's get started. Caves have a subconscious hold on our imaginations. For our ancestors, they were not just shelters from the elements, but also symbols of the womb, gateway to the underworld, places of wonders and mysteries. Caves often provide habitats for threatening, endangered, and other rare species, including some endemic microbial communities that only exist in caves where they are found and nowhere else. Many of the special values found in caves are non-renewable. Once they are damaged or destroyed, they cannot be restored. In the US, nearly 20,000 caves lie beneath the country's karst, and spelunking groups unearth at least 1,000 new caves each year. It is because of these spelunkings and caving enthusiasts that have helped discover all the cave systems that we have known today and throughout all of the world. And thanks to the discovery of these new cave systems that helped scientists find 33 new species in sealed-off caves. 48 total species living inside of these prehistoric time capsules, including spiders, scorpions, centipedes, and many others. Creatures that were discovered living in complete darkness. Almost every creature living in caves have no vision whatsoever and lacks any kind of colored pigments. Without the ability to see, the organism developed extremely long antennas, limbs, and other body features to easily feel their way around inside of the caves. Most of these critters look like nothing we've ever seen before. Evolution sure does look different in areas where no sunlight ever reaches the ecosystem. But it is not just new species that we find. Just recently, scientists have came out and said they have discovered bone fragments and a skeleton back in 2015 of an ancient human species known as the Homo naledi. These remains were discovered in South Africa in a cave called Rising Star Cave Systems. Also discovered in a cave system located in Indonesia island of Flores, scientists discovered a 3-foot tall human with a brain of the size of a grapefruit, dating back 18,000 years. This species found weren't a quirk of an ancient hominid, but part of an entire species of miniature people who exist overlapped with that of a modern Homo sapiens. So with all the new discoveries and all the excitement around cave systems that are being discovered every single day, there's also been reports of very strange things happening within caves, or reports of cryptids that lives in these caves that people have seen, or just discuss the topic about these reports of these cryptids known to live in caves. Growing up watching all these Hollywood movies about creatures living in caves where scientists goes in and discover these man-eating creatures has sparked my interest on this topic. For example, some of these movies are The Cave, The Descendant 2, The Cavern, Grimm. Just all those movies have put an image in our head that caves are something sinister and fill our imagination that the possibility of these creatures existing might be more than just a fairy tale or a Hollywood movie. First on the list, we are going to be talking about the Oliti owl, also known as the cave demon of West Africa. The Oliti owl is an elusive giant bat with a wingspan of 12 feet long, a black body, blood red wings, with 2 inches of serrated teeth. These are the description that have been seen from a local tribe located in the Cameroon forest in West Africa. But the first story to reach the Western world came from a biologist known as Ivan T. Sanderson in 1932. Sanderson was studying another large species of bat known as the hammer-headed fruit bats when he was attacked by the largest bat that he has ever seen. With a wingspan more than 4 times as large as the hammer-headed bats. Nearly escaping this incident, Sanderson went back to the village and explained his encounter with the native guides. When they became excited and attributed it to what they call the Oliti owl. which is a combination of words Ole and Nitya, in which they name after a type of ceremony mask that was carved in the shape of a demon. According to them, the Olitiao live in nearby caves and only came out at night to feed. After the sighting, both Sanders and Gerald Russell, the person that was with him who saw this Olitiao, agreed that the animal had at least a 12-foot wingspan. Sanders later added that the bat's head was not monkey-like rather than dog-like and was not pointed. Their sightings was then published in Sanders' book called The Animal's Treasure. In Sanderson's book he wrote, "I was confronted by an apparition such as I had never imagined existed. About 15 feet away and just above my level of my eyes, it was coming straight at me awfully fast, so I ducked into the water. I got a very good look and a close look at its face, and to put it facetiously, its lower jaw hung down, and as the light of the sun was directly shining onto its face, I could have counted the huge white teeth if I had had the time. They were a good 2 inches long, all about the same length, and all equally separated by spaces of the same width. This animal that flew at me had a muzzle more like that of a monkey than a dog, or of any kind of reptile, in that it was not drawn out to a point. The whole animal was coal black in color, including the wings, which were quite opaque. It did not appear to be hairy, but neither do most bats until you examine them in your hand." Sanderson then goes into more reports about what they did afterwards and how they reported this incident to the natives. And this is just one of those fascinating accounts that was documented and seen by more than one person. And the villagers really do believe that this Olitiao really lives in the caves of these mountains in West Africa. Since we're still on the topic of giant bats, let's talk about another huge bat creature known as the ahul that has been sighted several times in the Java rainforest of Indonesia. Just like the Olitiao, the ahul is massive, reported to have a 10-foot wingspan, so just a little bit smaller than the Olitiao, and this bat has giant claws at the end of his forearm. The ahul was first documented in 1925 by a naturalist known as Dr. Ernest Bartels. He watched this giant bat-like creature emerge from behind a waterfall and named it the ahul based on its distinctive cry and the distinct noise it made while it flew over its head. After that incident, 2 years later, he returned and heard the creature again. He pulled together a search party and rushed out to the jungles to find it. It's been suggested that the ahul is really a large owl, but everyone who saw it claimed that it was definitely a bat-like creature, not a bird. This is definitely not the first time we heard of reports of a cryptid or strange findings in the forests of Indonesia.
Began their descent to assist their fellow soldier.
God, you see it? No, I don't see anything down here.
Hang in there, buddy!
God.
Oh, whoa, you alright? You alright, son?
Wait, look at me. You okay?
Oh my God.
Look to me.
What's down here?
Something's down here. Wait, listen to
What'd
me.
you see, Wayne?
Hey, hold on, man. Listen to me. Everything's okay. You're seeing things. Your
Looks
back's...
like a lady.
Everything's gonna be okay, man. We're almost there. The signal's getting stronger. Just follow me. Getting close. Something's down here with me.
Oh, Jesus God! nest of them!
The injuries sustained by Sergeant Ramos indicate that whatever attacked the 3 soldiers that night was much larger than any bat species known to humankind. Do they live among us?
So the possibility of a bat-like creature that has a wingspan of 10 plus feet, maybe there is a possibility. Next on the list is the Tazelworm. Tazelworm is one of the most famous European cryptids out there. It is a lizard-like creature or animal that looks something like a dragon, but has a row of spike ridges running down its back and a cat-shaped head. The first sightings of the Tazelworm was in 1779, when a man claimed that a creature jumped out in front of him, scaring him so badly that he had a fatal heart attack. How he reported the story after he died, I have no idea, but that was the first reported ever documented. So more and more people began seeing this creature called the Tazelworm throughout the 19th and the 20th century, providing similar reports in most cases. The animal was about 7 feet long, with razor teeth, a short neck, and a short blunt tail. Some people even said that the Tazelworm bit them. In Germany, the cryptid is named the Stolen Worm, which also means worm that lives in holes, because it's believed to hibernate in mountain caves during the winter times. The most recent sighting was in 2009, when a research assistant near the border of Switzerland and Italy claimed that she saw it running on by 2 legs, like a prehistoric velociraptor. There was even a photo that was floating around back then, claiming that this skeleton that was found was a Tazelworm, a dragon-like creature with sharp claws and fangs. Real or not, the thought of having a dragon-like creature still roaming Europe still fascinates the heck out of me. And I love dragons, so I hope this creature really do exist. And because with all the reports that come out from Europe, I believe people are really actually seeing something that resembles a dragon-like cryptid out there. Next on our list is a creature straight out of a Japanese folklore story, also known as the Shishunoko. The Tsushinoko is located deep in the mountain ranges of western Japan and resembles a thick-bodied snake-like creature that grows several feet long in length, about a meter. Tsushinokos are believed to inhabit the water wave cave systems in Shikoku and Hansu. They are usually sighted in rivers and streams that crisscross the mountains, but most sightings are only a glimpse before the creature darts back into the depths of the mountains. Descriptions vary, but most witness reports many of the same features. Large, plate-scale-like creature, black tongue, small horns growing out the side of his head, and the ability to leap more than a meter at a time. Or perhaps the most unusual feature of all, a variety of vocal noises that ranges from squawking, squealing like a mouse, to mimicking even the human voice. To top it all off, Tsushinokos are supposed to have fangs capable of shooting venoms at their attackers. The town of Mitaka claims to have captured one, but they also haven't taken any measure or steps to verify its authenticity, so it remains a cryptid for the time being. But that would be so cool if a folklore story actually turned to be a true creature or animal or cryptid. Before we move on to the next cryptid, I just want to throw a bonus story in here about the Panama creature that was found in September 2009. I remember when the photo first came out of this creature, it went completely viral and news channels pretty much aired this creature all over TV and pretty much the internet. The story behind this photo is a group of 4 to 5 teenagers at the age of 14 to 16 claimed to have been playing near a cave in Cerro Azul, Panama, when a creature emerged. They say that this creature approached them, and fearing for their safety and lives, they attacked the creature with sticks and rocks, killing it. They then threw its corpse into a pool of water before leaving the area, then later returning and took photographs of the creature's corpse before sending the pictures to Telemetro and Panama television stations. Then after, more photos were taken of the creature when it was further decomposing. I remember during this time, even I was coming out with theories on what this creature is, but there was a lot of speculation about the identity of this creature. A lot of people suggested that it was a hairless sloth. Other people said that it was an alien species. Others say that, it might be just a, new species of creature that was new to science. So a few days later, after the discovery of this Panama creature, a biopsy was actually performed by the National Environmental Authority of Panama and found that this creature was actually a male brown-throated sloth. And with the odd appearances of this Panama creature, it was pretty much concluded that the hair loss was caused by underwater decomposition. Once identified, the corpse was then buried. I remember the first time when this photo came out. People were pretty much speculating or saying that this creature, the reason why his skin is all pale and white is because he lived in the cave all its life and never seen sunlight. That's the reason why his skin is all white, or this creature's skin is all white. And yeah, there's just so much debate whether this was a cryptid creature that lived in a cave that pretty much exposed itself to the wrong people, and these kids pretty much killed it, but and there's also speculation of the government's trying to cover up, they don't want us to know the truth. And yeah, but I just thought I'd share that little bonus story in there real quick before we move on to the next cryptid. And for those of you who still remember this photo, knows that it went completely viral in 2009, and thought I'd just bring it back to life a little bit. So without further ado, I'll tell about a cave demon that my aunt have experienced back in Laos. And of course, it's always going to be about Laos because this is where most of these tales come from, and these are the stories that I've heard growing up. So I'm going to be talking a lot about these accounts that has been passed on to me when I was a child, and just thinking they were just folklores and stories, and I like to just share them with you guys. So back in the days, the only protein that my aunt and my uncle could get was either to eat their livestock, or else they would go out fishing, hunting for squirrels, or go in the woods and shoot some wild boars. Or the other two ways they would get protein was to trap birds, or what they call it, trapping bats, or we call it ndalpo. And the only way to do this was to make a 3 to 4 hours trek up in the mountains to these cave openings where these bats den till dusk. My aunt was a teenager at the time and had to get there pretty early just to set up her nets and wait. To set up, my aunt would hold these 2 bamboo poles that were weaved with fishing line. So when the time was right, she would light these torches that were also made with bamboo, but she would light the husk that was on top of it, just creating a smoke. The smoke would then rise to the top of the cave, making all the bats pretty much fly out. So as the bats flew out, she would then lift her nets up, catching these bats. So as my aunt was catching these bats, she noticed that there was another couple that came along to catch bats as well. But they were down to the left a little bit more further in the opening of the cave, because the opening to this cave was massive and had enough room for multiple trappers. Everyone kind of knew each other, so it wasn't, unlikely to see somebody that they didn't know. So the more the people, the better. It's what we call olo, especially in the Hmong culture. So over in Laos, they said that when it gets dark, it's pitch black. You can't see anything in front of your face. And as it got darker, my aunt was packing up ready to go when she heard something huge approaching deep within the cave system. My aunt said that as this creature approached, she heard one footstep followed by 2 click-clacks and another footstep followed by 2 more click-clacks. So it's kind of like that boom, click, click, boom, click, click, and it made his way all the way to the entrance of the cave, where my aunt kind of backed up a little bit, wondering what the heck this creature was, because she felt this creature was enormous, huge, bigger than her. As she backed up to the edge of the cave, there was a really steep drop, so she just kind of stood there and just kind of waited and watched to see what it was in front of her that was coming straight directly for her. And as she held these 2 torches, The creature came all the way to the part where, you know, it didn't really want to show itself, so it kind of hid in the darkness right at the edge and the opening of the cave. So as she found this kind of odd, where, okay, if this was like a bear or a tiger or something like that, it would have came out and pretty much snatched her up already. But this creature just kind of came and sat right at the edge of the cave, didn't want to come into the light at all. It just stood there, and it had these huge deep breaths, like and she said that it was such a big creature to the point where she could actually feel the warmness of this breath, you know, from 5 feet away. So at this stage, she's freaking out. So she's trying to scream at this creature to see if it will, you know, jump or get scared or back away into the depths. But it didn't move at all. It just kind of stood its ground and just kind of watched my aunt while she's standing at the edge of this cliff, waiting to see what was going to happen. Suddenly, the couple that was trapping with her too, down on the far left side corner, heard the commotion, because one point in time my aunt thought that it was her dog, so she started screaming his name out, and then this creature didn't react to that at all. So my aunt's like, you know what, that is not my dog, that's got to be something else that I don't know what it is, you know. So this couple pretty much heard her commotion, ran all the way up, grabbed her, and pretty much threw her in the middle between them, and pretty much booked it all the way home. And while they were doing that, they lit these huge torches in between my aunt and themselves, and said that without running, they power walked all the way home, because they were kind of afraid that if they were to run, it might have been tiger, and the tiger might have gave chase, you know, with the predator instinct. So yeah, they power walked all the way home, and what my aunt was like, you know, that 3 to 4 hour walk felt like eternity. That was a fascinating story that my aunt told me of coming upon this, what she called it now, a POV. But, you know, just listening to how she described the steps and the walking, stuff like that, I don't know, it sounds more like an OLT owl, you know, like a big bat or something like that, with the click-clacks, you know, with the wings. I don't know, but that's just my thought about it. I always kind of came back to that story when I'm thinking about these cave demons, and I'm like, hey, you know what? That kind of sounds like what my aunt experienced, you know, because she would always tell the story over and over and over again when we were in bed, and then it never changed at all. So as being kids, you know, she would put us in bed because she was our babysitter, and then she would tell us these stories, a lot of stories, and this was one of them. And I just thought that I'll just share that with you guys, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it, you know. But every time she told it, it was the same story over and over again. So yeah, that's the story of my aunt's cave cryptid encounter, you know. So still to this day, she don't know what it is, but her guess is just as good as mine and yours. So yep, that is it, guys. I just want to thank you guys all for listening, and hopefully I'll see you guys on another Late Night Strange. Thanks, guys. Bye bye, and stay spooky.